Have you ever thought just how boring or ridiculous news commentary is today? Welcome to the Real Jacks Podcast with Jim and Larry. The Real Jacks Podcast. From crime and politics to entertainment, you can expect something different. Now, let's get real, Jacks.
Real Jacks with Jim and Larry is brought to you by
Extreme Wings, 4 convenient locations, family sports restaurant and grill, more than just wings. Tremendous Barbecue, open since 2007, 8927 Hurlong Road, open 11 to 8, Tuesday through Saturday, and Sunday 11 to 3. Full barbecue menu, everything homemade, they cater anything, and they love first responders. Advanced Window Tint, 5024 Sunbeam Road, over 26 years experience. 3M Platinum Dealer, highest level of 3M dealer around. They tint vehicles, homes, and businesses. Secure One Protection Services, number one choice for protection since 1986. 356-1111. D-Way Towing, 100 South Jackson Avenue. Phone number is 904-356-3929. They take care of all your towing needs. See our friend Doug Dixon. Wild West Guns and Gold, family owned and operated for over 30 years. Stop in and visit them and their professional staff for all your hunting and shooting sports equipment. They have great customer service with competitive prices. Remember, Wild West Guns and Gold, our friends at Wild West. Vic Gibran, he's a good friend and great business owner and looks out for folks on the Westside. They're on Lane Avenue. Go see him. Norman Brewer for Jacksonville District 11 City Council. We need fighters that will truly represent us on the city council. Norman Brewer is that guy. He's a constitutional conservative, former law enforcement officer, successful businessman. Norm will call it like he sees it, and you will have no better advocate on the council.
AKA Scab over here for more storytelling. Let it rip, man.
Yeah. Let's go.
Just let it rip.
Appreciate it.
Let it rip.
Let's do the setup for this one.
No.
Well, we were just talking on the break. We were talking about knives and, how they, Leaf Spring Steel and some of the companies he's working with. And, he's demoed, you demoed several. You talked about this knife here. It was $1,000.
Yeah.
If you get it. Who makes this? Medford?
Medford. That's a Medford Praetorian T. I've actually got one of the only hard use videos on YouTube on that knife.
I was just handling that. Never felt a knife like that.
It's crazy, isn't it?
I felt some good knives, but that's a Rolls Royce right there.
Yeah.
But built like a tank.
Like
What'd you think about the handle? Because that handle takes a second. Did you like it?
Yeah, because I took it, I opened it, and I flipped it over my hand into a fighting position, and it rolled right over.
It's awesome.
It's real comfortable. Yeah.
They do a good job. But that's the knives and what you and I were talking about Winkler and that kind of stuff. That's where my heart's at. That's where the passion is. That's now. The story time with Scab I love because we lived them.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. But that's the past, but that's the future. So if you want story time with Scab, that's TikTok. Mm-hmm. And if you want all knife related stuff, that's
channel.
YouTube.
Choir Boys Cutlery.
And what's crazy is I'm a technological idiot. Well, that's not crazy.
We both are.
But trying to figure out the platforms because people on TikTok don't typically come to YouTube. People on YouTube don't typically go to TikTok. But I thought about this while on the break. I thought, Matthew and Bahota, if they were alive today, and both are gone, God rest their soul, would mess with me endlessly about being on social media.
Oh, yeah.
But they would be in every video.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
They would be in every, especially Bahota.
Yeah.
Especially Bahota.
Yeah.
You grew up with Robbie. Mm-hmm. Could Big Robbie go?
Mm-hmm.
How big was Big Robbie? How big was Big Hoda?
I'd say Robbie was bigger than you. He was probably close to 400. 400, a little over 400 at times.
Yeah.
Then he got diabetes and he had to cut his leg off and all that. Me and Richie went out there. But yeah, Scotty was about 400. First time I ever saw Scotty, Scotty was always jovial, always friendly, always laughing. But he had a switch. And if he started tearing up, somebody was getting their ass whooped.
You're talking about Robbie.
Robbie. There was a guy, I think his name was Blanton, I don't know. He was out there, we went to Forest High School. And it was just like, I think we were seniors. This guy had been messing with Robbie, calling him fat, doing whatever, just pissing him off. This is one of them dudes in high school, he had a full beard and all this kind of stuff. He kind of muscular and looked like he was about 37 years old and
8th grade.
Senior. Yeah, you're like, dude. So you're going outside. I never knew Robbie could go. Of course, I never knew a lot of my friends could go. You see some of them, you just go, there ain't no way that boy can fight. There just ain't no way. He just don't look like he can move. And Scotty goes outside, and this guy done run his mouth, and he's like, where's he at? And he's tearing up, and he's mad as a way hen. And they go out on the baseball field. And have you ever seen them old commercials where, Wile E. Coyote ends up, he thinks he's jumping on the bird, what was the bird? He's a Roadrunner. And he ends up jumping on a wildcat or something like that. And you see feet
little
and
tornado,
arms, a little tornado and arms and legs. And that's what it looked like. I swear this guy got his ass whooped for about 5 minutes by a big old 410-pound Robbie Pajota, who was moving like I had never seen it. I said, that boy can go. And from then on out, but Robbie was always jovial. He never was, never got
So he
mad.
was a nice guy. And apparently he was getting picked on.
Super nice guy.
Some fool picked on him.
Yeah.
He was beyond nice.
Yeah, super
Big
nice.
Hoda. If you had a bad word to say other than that guy, if you had a bad word to say about Big Hoda,
There's something wrong with you.
You
not
just had a
him.
bad word.
Yeah. Something's wrong with you.
Right.
We walked in one night to box seats, and Scotty, Robbie's your age.
Yeah.
How old are you? You're 5 years older than me, right?
Are you 51?
50.
Okay, I'm
Don't
55.
add.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. At this point, you don't add as much, even a month. It
So
makes a difference.
Big Hoda and Hoda, that's just what we'll call him. Big Hoda's
They
Robbie.
call him Little Hoda, but he was about 6'3" and about
Yeah.
260, 275.
Scotty
so
was
he wasn't no
a big
little
boy.
to it, but yeah.
We come walking in box seats one night, right? We come in the back door, and I'd thrown this guy out. Well, Robbie, I walked out to meet Robbie and Scott. No, me and Scotty walked out to meet Robbie and Dana. Dana was Scotty's wife, right? And when Dana come up to box seats, the script flipped. Scotty was no longer Scotty. It was Scott, and it was Hoda, and
He behaved.
and we go out and we get, somebody says something to Dana. So Robbie says to the guy, hey, man, she's married. So I walk up behind Robbie, and the guy called Robbie fat. And Robbie said, who you calling? Now, Robbie was 450 at this point.
Yeah.
Robbie was fat.
And he didn't realize, like he was getting told that he was fat.
He turned around and looked at me. He said, he called you fat. I said, he called me fat.
He's talking to you.
And I got upset about it. I said, I ain't fat. Well, Hoda comes across both of us. Now, Scotty's crying because while they were cousins, Robbie and Scotty were cousins, but they might as well have been brothers. Robbie raised Scotty.
Yeah.
So if you mess with Robbie, if you mess with Dana, Scotty's coming. He hit this guy so hard, Larry.
Scotty did.
It sounded like a shotgun going off. I thought, oh my God. Well,
something broke.
Jim Sparks come running back there, and Jim was 6'5", about 180 pounds. It was during and I love Jim Sparks, awesome guy, had long hair. So he comes running back there, and I said, Jim, you get Hoda, and I'll get this guy, who's a rag doll at this point.
Yeah.
So I picked the guy up. Well, Jim can't get Hoda.
No.
Hoda hits the guy again. Bam! He goes down. I pick him up again. Bam! He goes down. Finally, I go down to get this guy. He said, sir, please don't pick me.
Just leave me down.
Please. And Jim Sparks is going, Scab, you got to get Hoda. You got to get Hoda. Watch around, and Scott's standing there looking at Jim going, Jim, it's okay. It's all right. I'm calm now. Help the guy up again. Bam! And then Robbie got him. So later in the night, Sparks come up to me. He said, Scab, listen, I love you. I do. But next time there's a fight, how about you let me get the dead guy and you take the guy who can actually fight?
Right. Yeah.
I said, no problem, Jim.
Not the monsters.
But I didn't do that.
I'm leaving the monsters for you.
But that was Scotty, and that was Robbie.
Yeah.
Robbie come in there one night. They had a special on prime rib, and the owner bought, I don't know how much prime rib, right? Bunch of it, and he was so excited because they had potatoes and they had all this stuff, and it was going to be a feature night, prime rib night at Box Eats. It was, well, Big Hoda comes in, Chris Ray comes in, a couple more guys come in. I look back, it's midnight. Big Hoda got hungry. He went in the kitchen and cooked up all the prime rib.
Oh no!
Yeah.
On Friday night for the next Saturday, the day after,
And it was gone when they come in the next morning.
Oh Lord!
Big Hoda not only cooked it up, Well, we all ate it. We ate most of it.
I was waiting for
and
that.
Chris Ray was involved with that
I'm
too.
sure he was.
Officer Ray.
Is this when Simone owned it?
When Simone owned it.
Yeah.
It was one of his big ideas. Let's have prime rib night.
Yeah.
I said, Big Hoda, he said I was hungry. You know, because he always had that towel.
Yeah.
I said, we could have got you something. Jimmy cooked every piece of it, and it was gone. Ooh, they were mad.
It's good, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, they tried to give him a bill. He said, who? You know how Robbie was. Who? I ain't. Get out here. Get out to my cousin here. But we had fun. There was a lot of fun, too. There was a lot of fights, I guess, and stuff like that. But we had a lot of fun.
Yeah, there was.
Good old memories, though.
Yeah. Nobody
Good
got
story.
I mean, there was a
stories,
funny
good
barroom brawl where you get hit with some stuff, but I'll tell you one incident that happened up there. So I decided to be off one night, and I called my buddy Will James, and I said, hey, let's go up. He's like, I hate that place. I said, we're just going to throw darts. I don't even know how to throw darts. I don't know what hit the bullseye. You know, there's points you get. I don't know. We didn't create, and I've never really been a big drinker, but I was going to drink that night. He was driving. So we get up there. Corey Yarborough. Corey played center for the University of Florida, so he bounced up there, and he was up front, and we're in the back and talking to some. You know, I was single at the time, talking to some nice ladies and throwing darts, and all of a sudden, Gary Nelson. Do you remember Officer Gary Nelson? Well, there's two Gary Nelsons, skinny one and then the heavy one, heavier set one. Some of the guys used to call him Shipwreck. I never understood why that was. I don't know if he was in the Navy or something like that. Maybe that's where it came from. But anyway, he was on, you know, they always had an off-duty officer up there working. So he was working on the weekends. Not that one officer was probably enough, but, you know, he's a good-sized guy, big guy. So apparently, and there was a guy kept running over there back and forth, and Corey's like, you got to calm down, you got to calm down. And me and Will are throwing darts and having a nice drink and just enjoying the night and trying to talk to some nice ladies, like I said. And all of a sudden I hear, Larry. What? And I turn and it's Corey yelling for me. Now, Corey's a big boy.
Big dude.
I mean, I saw Corey throw a guy across the room like this on top of a back when you had big cigarette boxes, you know, where you buy cigarettes out of, you pull the thing. Yeah.
And they're about this tall. Yeah.
I saw him throw a guy like 12 foot away from him up on top of those one time in the middle of a fight. But he was center. He played center for the University of Florida. I mean, he's a big boy. He's slimmed down in there, but he was always super strong and all. Anyway, he's tied up.
With the cigarette machine.
And Shipwreck, Gary Nelson's tied up with this guy. Now, this guy was, I don't know, 6'5", 6'6". Corey's probably 6'1", 6'2", something like that. This guy's 6'5", 6'6", and I don't know what he did for a living, but they were having their hands full with this guy. I don't know. You may not even remember this one. So, none of y'all were up there that night. It'd been nice if y'all had been. I mean, that would have been great. But, you know, so they're tied up on him. And I remember, I said, all right, Will. He's like, he just looks over him. He's like, really? This place again? And I was like, I'm sorry, but I'm off, but I'm not gonna let Corey and an officer get hurt. So we went over there, and this guy had a buddy with him. So they get the guy to the front. Well, Shipwreck Gary takes out his pepper spray, and he pepper sprays not the suspect, Will, right in the face. Will let go. He's like, Gary. And he let go, and that big dude hit Will right in the face. Bam! And all he could do was like, God almighty. So he sucked it up. But Will's not a small guy. Will's probably 6'2", and probably, 275 or something like that.
He just got pepper sprayed.
Yeah, played ball.
Hit in the face.
And hit in the face.
Pepper sprayed and hit in the face.
So he's
in his favorite place, box seats. So he grabs the guy again, and they end up taking him to the ground. Well, he had a buddy with him that kept running up, and was actually grabbed. I can't remember if he grabbed Will or grabbed somebody else. So I scooped the guy up from the back. I mean, belly to back. Picked him up, pulled him in tight, and ran him out the front door. Well, he said, I'm Clay County. So I'm thinking he's a Clay County officer. Right. I put him down outside. I said, then you should know better. Sit your ass out here and be quiet. I go running back in to try to help them because, Will's not in a good mood. I can promise you Will's not in a good mood. He'd been pepper sprayed. And at first he went to the place he didn't want to go to. Second, he's been pepper sprayed. Third, he's been hit in the face. And he's on top of this guy. They get this big dude to the ground. And I'm telling you, this guy was giving them all they could. These are grown men. I mean, both of them close to 300 pounds dealing with this guy. And Gary's so out of gas. Will saying, put the cuffs on him. Gary, put the cuffs on him. I can't. I hit my button, which
is not good.
It's 34
pin. He hit a 34 pin.
34 pin.
And you know, first of all, you're embarrassed anyway because then the cavalry's coming. HQ sending everybody.
Right.
Lieutenant,
1022,
sergeants,
1022,
sergeants, officers, you got supervisors coming, so now it's going to be embarrassing.
Right.
Because we've been pepper sprayed, hit just from throwing darts. He's in a place he don't want to be, and now everybody is going to know he was there. So he gets there, and they get the guy out, and the other guy ran back inside. We had to grab him again and top him outside with a nice lady I was talking to, and ended up hanging out with later on. I didn't realize was actually that guy's soon-to-be ex-wife, but. He goes outside, and we get this guy outside, and he ended up arresting him for because I think he had also hit Gary, you know, so you can't really charge him for bolio when he hit Will, who's in plain clothes.
Gotcha, right.
But yeah, we got done with that night. We ended up going home. He goes, I don't want you to ever ask me to ever go back to box seats again unless we have to go to a call. But there's a couple times. I remember they got in a fight with some guy up there, and he was a Hispanic guy. His name was Edwin or something like that, and he couldn't speak hardly a lick of English, but he had pooped himself. And Will didn't know it, so it was like one of them other times. Like right after that, we had to carry this guy to the jail. He got arrested for something up there, and it was all in the back of Will's car.
Puts him in the back of the car,
like,
right?
Will had to take that downtown. He's like, man, I hate box seats.
Most of y'all did. Who was the sergeant?
I didn't mind it.
Who was the sergeant that had the real big biceps with a mustache?
Jeff Strait.
No, not Jeff. I went to school with Jeff.
Okay.
This dude was older. Had to be about your. Had Hugh. Scott Hughes was a lieutenant.
Okay.
And this was a sergeant, and he swore that he would one day shoot me and Hoda at some point because he hated us.
I don't know.
But he hated us because we were lousy. And I say that in the story. We were horrendous bouncers. You know that.
Yeah.
We were terrible.
Yeah.
We were liability for a reason. We sucked.
They were the guys at Roadhouse that didn't get the nice speech, you know. Yeah, they were screwing up left.
Well,
and right.
Roadhouse ruined bouncing. The internet's made more guys tough than Roadhouse, but Roadhouse didn't. Talking about hitting that button, I'll tell you this one and turn it back over to you. Do you remember a little officer named Dave? We used to call him Super Dave.
I remember the name.
Maybe 5'6", 5'7".
I'm sure I do.
We're up there one night. Me and Hoda are up there one night. We got there about 4:30 or 5, and having some margaritas. Which again, we were horrific bouncers. That can't be
the drinking and margarita bouncing. That's probably never.
We were working, so we were trying to relax.
Yeah.
So we're up front having a margarita, which tasted like gasoline. Because every drink there, they just tried to. What they really tried to do is give us alcohol poisoning within the first two, so we just shut up.
Yeah.
So we're standing there, and Jennifer Harper comes around the corner. She said, "Hey, assholes, they're fighting back here." So we take off back there. Well, Super Dave had been off duty. He was on duty, but he's having lunch. And there wasn't many real movie type brawls. Not many. You know that. Most bar fights, a couple sucker punches, pushes, and you're done. That's it.
Yeah.
This one was kind of like walking into a movie. So me and Hoda go in there. Well, I look over and I see Dave. And Dave grabs a guy. It was right back there by the pool table. The guy doesn't know Dave's an officer.
Of course,
right?
Yeah.
So he puts his feet up on the pool table and kicks back. Well, Dave goes down. And I heard Hoda go, "Oh, shit, Scab, come on." Well, in the middle of all that, Dave's button got hit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is that when the 34 pin got hit?
Yeah. That's when it...
By accident.
It was by accident.
Yeah.
That was the night. So we get Dave up, and he's saying, "Oh, shit, the cavalry's coming." He got both me and Hoda by the shirt. He said, "Stay behind me. Come on, everybody goes." Before we're grabbing people and throwing them out. Dude, I'm telling y'all, within 2-3 minutes, 4 officers come in the back door, 4 come through the kitchen, and it looked like a damn army coming down both sides, and they weren't playing. There was a big red-headed officer, had a flat top, and this dude was huge. He come in putting on gloves, son. I said, "Oh, shit.
It's on."
It's on.
Yeah.
And it was on. He walked up to both of us. He said, because we had on boxy, he said, "Figured it'd be y'all. Let's go." Everybody hits the ground. That was as close to holy shit as I've been in. And I've been hit in the face with a beer mug, hit in the back with a pool stick, all of that. But that was kind of nerve-wracking because you got 25 officers coming in, or what looked like. I mean, they were coming in force.
Yeah.
So when it was over, I said, Dave, something you need to tell us? He said, what? I said, how did they get? He said, Bubba, it was an accident. Somebody hit my button. Mm-hmm. I said, what? But I didn't know y'all had a button.
Don't they usually go 1033 and when you hit that 34
pin? Yeah, you hear the alert tone, but if you're in the middle of something, nobody's paying attention.
And this was just kind of
and they GPS it. They know where your last location was. So if he logged out to eat, then they would have known where he was.
So he didn't know he got hit, though. So
he didn't know. No, he really didn't.
Okay.
Because I think when he grabbed the guy, and he even told us later, he was explaining, he said, look, I didn't identify myself. I just grabbed the guy. He said, I was just trying to get him out, and the guy panicked because when he grabbed the guy, he's fighting a guy.
Yeah.
And
somebody's
all
grabbing
been there. Yeah. Corey Yarborough, when I worked at Box Seats, at one time we power lifted together. Corey's one of the strongest, and I'll say this, naturally strongest human beings. We walked in the gym. He said, hey, Scab, I'm going to start working out with you. I said, all right, Corey. I said, I'm good with it. I mean, we were good buddies. He said, well, I hadn't lifted in about a year. He said, I'll do 405 for 4 or 5 reps on the bench, and then I'll go for it. And I thought, yeah, okay, all right. He did it for 6 and he warmed up.
That was his warm-up.
Yeah. Well, we warmed up. He went to 4 or 5, hit it for 6. He stood up. He said, I should be at 5 in a month. He walked back from there, walked to the squat rack. There was 385 on the squat rack. He snap pressed it.
Wow.
Over his head.
Jeez. Yeah.
Corey was just strong.
Freak of nature.
Strong boy.
Freak of nature.
Yeah.
And natural.
Yeah. Yeah.
For a long time. I don't know if you ever got him, probably, but.
I was not natural.
Yeah.
There ain't no, I mean, my head's this size for a reason. But Corey was natural. I seen Corey bench. I think we were there. I think he did 680. Was like one of his best.
Wow.
Now you're talking about a dude that's natural.
Yeah.
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 And didn't know his own.
Yeah, his shoulders were that wide.
Yeah.
And if that dude grabbed you.
He's not taking any enhancements or anything.
If he grabs you, feel like a man.
Yeah. Well, that night he threw the guy on the, Bosco was up there.
Is he the one that threw the guy on the cigarette machine?
Yeah.
I'll tell you that real quick. We were up there. We had a guy who did tattoos, Bosco, Jeff McManus. Bosco was an awesome guy.
Still alive?
Still alive. Looking good. He's doing jiu-jitsu and all that stuff.
I am too, but it's killing me.
Well, I think it is him too. But
yeah,
but at the time, I don't know why, like a big group of hens, we're all in the bathroom talking, right? Me, Bosco, Corey, Dale, Matthew, everybody's Hoda. We're all in there, and this guy comes in to Bosco. He goes, hey, you did my tattoo, you remember? And Bosco's like, I've done a lot of tattoos. And the kid's showing him his leg. He goes, no, you did this. So I'm kind of like, we're laughing, but all of a sudden, Bosco's face changes. And I said, oh, shit. He goes, I remember you. I remember your mom had to come pay for that tattoo because you didn't have money, and I had to run you down for it. He said, if I were you, I'd get away from me. Well, the kid goes to say something, and Dale's like, hey, Bubba, you way out. And the kid starts looking around, and Dale was like, look, dude, not today. It just would be bad.
Bad spot.
He said, you're in a bad spot with people that don't care. Yeah. Well, this kid goes out and I guess tells all his buddies who were all about this big, and before anybody says anything about size don't matter, typically it don't. But when you got that group.
Yeah.
So Bosco comes out and his girlfriend comes up because I walked back and she said, Scab, there's a problem up front. And I'm thinking, I said, okay. And I turn around and she said, Scott. Well, if they talk, everybody usually calls me Scab. If you know me by Scott, then you know me at that time, right? Mm-hmm. So I go up front, and Corey is a peacemaker. I think God just makes him that way for a
nice
reason,
guy.
right?
Always nice.
So the guy comes at Bosco. Corey steps in between, and Corey wraps up Bosco. Well, the guy goes to sucker punch Bosco, and he hits Corey. Corey got so mad. That's what Larry was talking about. He picks this guy up by the face, runs across the bar, didn't he? And threw him on top of the cigarette. Didn't know what to do with him.
Yeah.
If it had hit him, he killed him.
Yeah.
Hit the wall so hard, there was plaster coming down. And I said, you all right? Bubba, I'm just a little irritated. I said, well, it'll be all right. Kid thought better of the plan then. Yeah. But
As he
Corey
said,
was
on top
just
of
that strong.
Yeah, he was freaky strong.
And I'm sure he still is. Like you said, he
He's-
lost a lot of
yeah,
weight.
yeah,
There had to be some songs written about
He's leaned
boxing.
all up. I think he's financial
Some Leonard
advisor.
Skinner songs or something.
Financial advisor. He's calm.
Is he really?
Down. Yeah,
He's a
leaning
financial
way up.
advisor?
Yeah, he
No kidding.
does a lot of cardio now. You know, he's not as
He's
not
leaned
as-
out.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
is good. Yeah, it's good. You know, some of those guys, and obviously everybody thought we were a little bit tough back in the day, but you know, you realize, you know, I start training with guys that know how to fight and have, Marcelo Burgo, guys like that have been fought in other countries and MMA fights and trained jiu-jitsu for 25 years in Brazil. You just, I get around guys now and I'm just humbled every time I'm around them, and that's a big push. But, back then when it wasn't a big deal and you just needed big, strong dudes that were tough and could take a shot and could give it
Just
out.
good old street fighting.
Yeah, the Westside boys were pretty tough.
Good old ass whippers.
Yeah. I mean, Jimmy was the same way. Jimmy was tough. Yeah, oh man, he was
Well, I
super
worked
tough.
with y'all when y'all worked at Spa Fitness. Mm-hmm. We all worked at Spa Fitness
Yep.
together, and y'all left to do the long.
Yeah, and everybody's like, what?
That was fun.
Yeah. Richie Smith, probably one of the, and obviously he would jump on people they didn't have no business jumping on. But Richie at 160 pounds is probably one of the toughest dudes I've ever known. Naturally born, gifted fist fighter. He was great with his hands. And, the first time you ever seen him fight, the guy's bow-legged, got real thick glasses and a hat bent up. And you're thinking, this poor kid's, first time I ever saw him fight.
You've talked about him before.
Yeah. He's going to get his ass whooped. And he beat a guy like a rented mule. And I said, I didn't realize a guy could fight like that. Of course, he ends up, jump on. He would jump on anybody. That was the thing about him. He didn't care if they were 250 and 6'5". It made no difference. He would fight anybody.
Because he was 5'6".
Yeah, he was probably 5'9".
Or whatever.
5'10".
Okay, because
I mean,
those usually the guys that'll.
And he got better as he
Give it
got older. But I
200%.
remember he jumped on one of Andre's brothers, Richard. And Richard's, had just finished playing football. And Richie's drinking a little bit, I guess. It's right after high school. 19, 20, 21 years old or whatever. They were out some group, and it's all 4 AUs, which is never a good thing to get in the mix. Those big Lebanese jokers were, you didn't
They're
want to
all
mess
tough.
around. Yeah. Oh, they were tough. Yeah.
Almost,
and
yeah.
mean.
Different kind of tough.
Yeah. Like they had seen their dad drag people to death.
Yeah, I was gonna say
That kind of stuff. He was in the Christian Lebanese army over there. But yeah, Richie decided to jump on Richard one night, who's about 6'3" and about 265, and Richie's about 5'9", 5'10", about 165, and he got slammed a few times almost through pavement, but he kept getting up, going. Finally, Claude's like the oldest one. He was always running things, the oldest brother. He's like, Richard, that's enough. That's enough. You don't have to throw him in through the concrete again. So yeah, but you look and not just that, but even Scab. We one night Scab had been partaking in the alcohol a little bit, so. He needed a ride. I said, well, you're not driving. It was one of them nights. I don't even remember this one. We left, and there was a couple people with us. We went back to my apartment because you remember for a little while I lived right by the substation.
That's right.
So he said, Bubba, I'm hungry. I said, all right, we'll go to. And it's like 2:00. It's 2 a.m. We'll go to Famous Amos on San Juan. So when they're eating, and I think there might have been a girl or two there, but anyway, it was one of them corner booths, making the corner. Everybody's in there following the 2:30 in the morning.
And that's another interesting place.
Post bar night, whatever. Some guy walks up and he's asking Scab a question, and Scab's just not in the mood because he's really hungry and he's somewhat inebriated. So the guy says, "Hey, I need to ask you a question." He says, "Bubba, I'm eating, and if you want to talk to me, I'll talk to you when I'm done eating." And the guy goes, "Well, you don't have to be an asshole." He goes, "Listen, Bubba, you need to get on. I'm trying to eat. I'm not bothering you. You need to get on out of this restaurant. And if you want to talk to me, I'll talk to you upstairs." He goes, "Well, I'm telling you don't have to be such an asshole." He goes, "Listen, Bubba, if you let me finish my damn omelet, when I get up from this damn omelet, I'm going to take you in the parking lot. I'm going to beat your damn brains out. But right now I'm hungry. So I'm going to finish my damn omelet."
Larry was doing this.
Yeah, just like that. I was like, oh, here we go. And he's so drunk. It's going to be me fighting the guy in the parking lot. But the guy he didn't pose any threat to anybody.
But I do want to say at this point, okay, it's not about size because you brought up a great point. Trained fighters will hurt you.
Yeah.
I've had the misfortune of running across a couple.
Yeah.
And the other side is this. Most people's always trying to be tough. It's not about being tough, right? Because the people that you have problems with in bars, they're mouthy.
Right.
The guys that are over there, my granddaddy told me one time, he said,
It's the guys
"Son,"
that's not running their mouth.
that's it.
That's the dangerous ones. Yeah.
He said, "Son, if a man's over there minding his own business, you best let him mind it. And I've always lived by that. So I do want to throw that out there. We didn't jump on people, and we didn't.
The quiet guy in the corner with cauliflower ears, might want to leave him alone.
The old guy.
Definitely the cauliflower ears, yeah.
If you see, I tell you what, back then, if you seen an old man, you know, the slip joints, the case knives.
Yeah.
There's been a couple times you seen an old man standing there like this. You better leave him alone.
Yeah, he'll cut you and he'll haul ass.
Yeah, because that ain't their first time.
No.
But we had fun, and nobody got hurt too bad.
No,
I think that's fair to say.
but you got some other good stories too that didn't involve fighting.
Oh no, yeah, we got. I don't know any right now.
There should be a movie on box
No,
seats.
you got
though.
one about Megan when y'all went to clean the church.
movie, you know.
That's
The church?
Yeah, that's
the haunted
ghost.
ass church.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that one.
Yeah, that's a good
because that one's different. We had, or for years, I cleaned my dad's church, and it's over there. It's the one he's at now. It's Riverstone,
right off of
and it's an old building.
Yeah.
So we go in. Megan would go with me. I ran a little cleaning company. Meg would go with me. We ran it for Blanford. And I started noticing we'd walk in and she'd just put in her earbuds, right? And finally I said, babe, if you don't want to talk, she said, you don't notice that? Now I didn't know if I believed in ghosts or not, and I still don't know if I believe in ghosts. Let me say that up front. I'm not trying to sell anybody on it. I'm just telling you there was a ghost at that church. Megan don't hardly believe in anything, right? So when she started saying stuff, I'm like, huh. So one day we go in, and it was at there, and she would haul ass through that thing cleaning, man. And I'm struggling to keep up. So we go in one night, and we get done. She said, I'm telling you right now, if you get on that phone, you're going to be here by yourself. I said, all right, babe. So we get done. We get done. So we walk up, and we're walking through the vestibule there, and we go into the auditorium. She said, I'll go cut off the light in the office if you'll get, she hated that green room in the back. She said, if you'll do that. I said, okay. So I go to the back. I turn off the light in the green room, and I come out, and she is coming out of the church office. And I said, babe, you want to get something to eat? Well, she's got her head down. She's just walking. Ponytail just, and she's quick stepping. And I said, so I called her 3 or 4 times. She didn't say anything. I said, well, shit. I'm either in trouble.
She's mad, yeah.
Something's up. Because, I mean, Larry knows me. I mean, she's quick stepping. So I walk through the church, and I'm like, I know I ain't done nothing in the last 5 minutes. So I go through. She's not in there, and I'm thinking. So, Jim, I set the alarm. I walk out in the parking. There's no car. And I thought, I know I ain't done nothing that bad. I've done some stuff. Well, I look over, and she's in the street, in the car in the street.
Like a getaway driver.
Like a getaway. So I walk over, I get in the car, and I thought, here we go. And I said, you ready? She said, yeah. Do you want to grab something to eat? I said, yeah. So we go, and we get about a mile away from the church. She said, hey, let me ask you something. I said, yep, here it goes. Here we go. I said, what's up, babe? She said, when I was in the office, did you say anything to me? I said, well, I was trying to. She said, no, not when I come out, when I was in. I said, no, why? She said, I walked in the office, I turned off the backlight, I come up, and I turned off the bathroom light in the office. And she said, as soon as I turned it off, she said, I heard a male voice say, well, hello there. And she said, at first I started laughing because I thought it was you, and then I realized it wasn't your voice. And I got the hell out of there, and I'm not going back.
Freaked out.
And I said, okay. And I believe her because Meg doesn't lie, and she doesn't, that's just not her purview, right? So I said, okay. So I start noticing things at the church. She doesn't go back. Month and a half goes by, 2 months, and I really haven't said anything to anybody, especially anybody at work, because I'm trying to process stuff. And after work one day, I go over to clean, and one of my buddies from the job I was working said, hey, man, do you have this particular piece of machinery on your truck? I said, yes. He said, I need to come get it. I said, dude, I'm on the west side. He said, it don't matter. I need to come get it. Are you at, where are you at? I said, well, I'm at my dad's church, gave him the coordinates. So he pulls up, and he said, hey, my girlfriend is psychic. Can she walk through the church? And I didn't want to say.
Did he know the story? Did he know the story?
No.
Okay, so he didn't know about it. Okay.
Nobody did from work.
Right.
And I said, because I was just a little weird about it. And I said, you know what? Yeah, that's fine. And I wanted to say why, but I didn't say anything. So she gets out of the car, and she's like one of these hippie chicks, but she's really nice.
Right.
And she said, would it be okay if I just do a quick walkthrough by myself, and then I'll take you through with me and tell you what I found? And I'm thinking, well, I didn't ask you to, but okay, whatever. Well, Sean's standing there, and Sean goes, and I said, Sean, just shut up, let her. She goes in, she comes out. She said, let's take a walk. I'm telling y'all, as we come up to that church office, she reached in to turn on the light. She did. As she turned on the light, she says, the psychic says, well, hello there.
No way.
Swear to you.
Give you a little goosebump right there.
Dude, I about fainted. I said, whoa. I said, what'd you say?
Where's it? What church is this? Or what place is this?
It's the, what's the name? Riverstone? It's Daddy's church.
Yeah, Riverstone.
It's over there off
Church.
5th Street.
It's right at Commonwealth and 295, basically.
Wow.
Commonwealth and 295, 5th Street, right there.
Yeah.
I said, what'd you say? And she laughed. She said, well, that's what I heard. She said, there's, and again, I don't know.
And she had no idea about
None.
this. Oh.
None.
You ain't even done the story on YouTube or nothing yet at this point.
None. No, I wasn't even on YouTube.
Okay.
I wasn't, no social media. Nobody knew, because like I said, I had a young lady that would clean for me during the week, and I go up one night, and she's as pale as this right here. And she would take her little boy, and her little boy would play in the nursery, right? Well, one night she texted me. She said, hey, Austin's with me. Do you mind if I fix him something to eat? She said, I said, no, dude, I said, I'm on the way. I got some stuff to bring you. I said, he's fine. He can, whatever, right? So I walk in the door, and she's as pale as this right here. Well, Austin, her son, always called me boss. So he comes running up, and I said, Billy, what's wrong? And she just kind of looking at me. Well, Austin runs up. He said, boss, do you know the man in the nursery?
Mm-mm.
I said, huh?
There not be no man in the nursery.
He said, I said, and I looked at Billy, and she just kind of shook her head. I said, y'all stay here. Because now I'm not thinking God, I'm thinking somebody's in the church.
Yeah.
So I go in the nursery, ain't no man in the nursery. Go in the back, nobody, and I'm like, so I come out, and Billy tells me, she said, Austin was in the nursery. He comes running in the kitchen saying, there's somebody in the nursery. Now he's 4. So she said, I said, Austin, there's nobody in there, baby. It's just you. You're fine.
He's 4 years old.
He's 4.
It's funny because a lot of times when there's like ghost sightings, it's little kids.
Right.
Little kids see them.
Right.
For some reason.
And
they're not making it up.
No. Yeah. What I've heard is they're not jaded, or they're,
They're open.
The eyes of the child.
Their spirit's open or whatever.
Right. Yeah. So Austin's in there. So Billy fixes him something to eat, not really thinking about it, because he's 4. As she turns around, a guy walks past her into the nursery. Now, she's telling me this, and I'm looking at her, and she ain't made, when somebody's lying.
Yeah, right.
You know when somebody's bullshitting. She wasn't. And I said, what did he look like? She said, well, he was tall, thin. She started laughing. She said, he didn't have legs from the knees down. I said, okay, all right. When the psychic came, when we walked to that nursery, I didn't say a word. She said, there's a tall, thin man in here. She described that dude to a T to what Billy and Austin had described. And I said, well, is he mean? Because at that point, I'm there by myself. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I said, is he mean? Can he hurt you? And she said, no, he wants to be. I said, well, tell him not to move because it'll scare me to death.
He wants to be what?
She said he wants to be mean. He's putting on an act. Now, again, how much of that?
I don't need to.
So what's the history of this building?
I don't need a scene.
It's always been a church.
Yeah. So do you think, did they used to
How long has the building been there?
The building's been there a while. The property's interesting. It's like 9 or 10 acres, right?
Yeah.
And I've had the psychic, and again, I don't know how I feel about that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So again, I'm not. And that kind of stuff weirds me out a little bit, especially when they're right, with the 50 cents and the.
And your dad don't want to hear that nonsense either.
Well, I said, Dad, he's all, son, there ain't no ghosts up here. I said, well, why don't you go up there at night? He said, because I'm not crazy, son. I'm not going up there. So, but the deal with the place is, there's always been, it's a metal building. We're in Florida. Yeah. So during the day it's hot, metal expands at night. So you've got natural creaking stuff. Do we got one more time for one more about the church? I'll tell you one. I go up there one night. I was working for Blandford, right? And Jason Blandford. Yeah. And we had taken the church, just kind of, it was my dad's church. Jason said, hey, I want to take the church. We'll do it discounted or whatever. Just be something to do for the church. I said, okay. He said, well, just you be responsible for it. I said, okay. So this is before all of that, but there had been stuff. You see something out of the corner of your eye. And I was always, and in all fairness to everybody, I was doing a lot of drugs at the time. Okay? Right. Just being honest. Yeah. Right? So there's shadow people, there's all kinds, I'm seeing all kind of stuff up there, son. So I go up one night about 1:30 in the morning, right? And I didn't do drugs at the church. Before I got there, maybe.
You up there by yourself?
Always a disclaimer. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big one. I mean, I'm a lot of things, but.
Yeah.
So I go up there by myself, and it's about 1:30 in the morning. Now, things have been happening, right? So as I go in, there's blue tile, like I said. I go into the men's bathroom carrying supplies, and I look back through the auditorium. The lights are off, but in the green room, the lights are on. Well, that's not unusual, right? Doors open, lights on. Mm-hmm. I go in the bathroom, put the stuff down. I'm in there a few minutes, getting things situated. Come out, lights off, doors open. That's okay. All right. So I keep doing stuff. I come by, and now it becomes a pattern. Go by again, doors close, lights on. Right? And after about 2 or 3 times a day, I said, you know what? I'm tired. I'm aggravated. So I hit the lights to the auditorium, and I start walking through the auditorium talking like Stone Cold Steve, because I'm just talking shit at this point. Yeah. I'm mad. I'm tired. The door is shut at this point, right? I get from about me to that curtain, and the door opens, and a dude steps out.
Oh, no.
I about shit all over myself, son, because it was a person. It wasn't no ghost.
Right.
It was in the middle of winter. It was cold. I think they'd come in off 295. I don't even think they were I think they were just trying to get out of the cold, honestly.
Yeah.
He screamed.
It looked like the church was open.
Well, no, they broke in. They broke. But, but at the same time, I don't think they meant that dude stepped out. And I thought I was going to die. I rubbed my eyes. I was hoping it was the drugs at that point, son. He screamed. I screamed. He takes off running. Now, in hindsight, he was trying to run around me.
Right.
Right? But at the time, I'm thinking, this dude's coming at me. So I went straight through him. I didn't hit him. I just launched straight through him. That dude bounced. And I turned around. Well, I turned around, and I hear a noise behind me. And my heart dropped. Because I turned around and another dude had come out. It was 2 guys in there. And these are actual physical people in this building.
These aren't ghosts.
These are not ghosts. Yeah. The guy comes out.
You thinking you're about to get robbed or something?
I'm thinking something's going, because the phone's up front, keys are up front, everything's up front. I don't even know. I was just going back thinking it was my imagination. Honestly.
Yeah.
So I turn around. I grabbed this guy that's on the ground, and I spin him around, and I just yelled. I said, stop. And the guy said, man, please, y'all just please quit messing with us. Y'all just please quit messing. We're sorry. Y'all. And it hit me. I said, there ain't no y'all. Which in hindsight, I said, there ain't no y'all. There's me. Now, what are y'all doing in here? What, And I'm thinking, I'm not going to be able to get back up to my phone to call the police. Mm. So more than likely, I'm going to just dump them out the door and let them, And the guy said, apparently, they saw me come in. They thought I had somebody with me because somebody started knocking on the walls where they were at. I said, nobody's done that. He goes, look, we just want to leave. We're sorry. Tell your buddy, whatever, that we're sorry. I said, there's nobody.
The guy with no legs.
There's nobody here. And my hand before the Lord, and I'm holding this dude like this. And the dude in front of me goes, oh, yeah, well, who's that? I said, I'm not looking back there, dude.
Not falling for that.
I said, I'm not doing. I said, I look dumb, maybe a little slow, but I ain't stupid. I'm not. I hear a laugh. It ain't this dude.
It ain't
that dude. And I swear to y'all, by the time I look back at the doors, the lights go off.
Oh, no.
I'm telling you the God's honest truth. I dropped the guy, run over him.
Yeah.
Because I'm screaming at this. I don't care. The hell with tough guy.
Yeah.
Run right over him.
The two dum-dums can stay with the Shining.
I blasted the dude because the dude's standing in the door.
Yeah.
Me and him go out the door.
Yeah.
Right? So I get up, and I'm like, look, whoever that is, because now I'm thinking there's three. I'm thinking they're. He goes, that guy's not with us. What about Tony? I said, who the hell's Tony? I don't know who Tony. He said, the guy inside. By that time, Tony comes falling out the door.
You done run him over. Anyway.
Run him over, son. I ran over from his toes to his head. I stepped on every part of it. I felt bad at the point.
Later, not
later.
Right.
Tony I get him up, and I can tell these guys, they're not lying. So now we're out there together. We look at the door, Larry. I promise you, hand before the Lord, the door slams.
Close y'all out.
I'm done. I'm out.
Yeah.
So I go jump in my work van. They jump in the other side with me.
Your new friends?
My new friends. I said,
what are y'all doing?
What? I said, what? He goes, man, just please get us out of here. Please, man. We're sorry. Please, please, please. I said, where are you going? He goes, man, please, just get us out of here. So we did what we knew to do. We went to Waffle House and ate.
Yeah.
And reminisce. That's all we could do.
Yeah.
I mean, I left them there.
Yeah. Didn't call the police on them.
No, I wasn't. People were like, oh, you should have called the police.
Yeah.
I said, by the time I ran around, I had to run around.
I was too freaked out to call the police.
And what am I going to tell them? Because I had to run and go back in and get my keys and phone and run back out in the van. When I got in the van, they were waiting on me.
Yeah.
They were not. Yeah. The guy said, look, Tony was over like this.
Yeah, well, you done
traumatized.
Right.
Yeah. Run over and then stomped him. So we left. I left them there. I offered them. They didn't want money. I really think, honest to God, they had checked the doors on the church. One was open. Because any church is going to have a bunch of sets of keys. They just do. Mm-hmm. And you got people in and out all the time. And I think they checked the door, and it was warm, and they sure wasn't expecting
it. It was cold outside.
It was cold outside.
At 1:30 in the morning. Yeah.
And I had a buddy of mine. I called, and we went back up there the next morning and did the whole SWAT check. Because at this point,
went through every room and cleared the whole building.
At this point, it's still. And it could have been, it very well could have been, because it's at the end of a dead-end road. Yeah. And I'll tell you the truth, there's an officer that sits down there all the time, the CSI guys.
Oh, yeah, evidence technician.
Evidence technician. He's cool as a fan, which I used to appreciate when I worked there late at night, because at least I knew I had the police.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't have any problems. If you got a car by, they'll go other places to commit their chicanery, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Well, I guess he said if he worked the case or something on the Westside, that's where he sat waiting on us.
Because it's secluded and he wouldn't be bothered and he could sit back there
and do his reports and all that stuff.
Yeah. So it was cool, but that'd
have been the same way. I always picked a spot, where it's away from people. And then if you get irritated, somebody pull back there and want to talk to you, you're like, God, you can't imagine I sat my ass back here in the
so I don't have to talk to anybody, right?
Not to talk to somebody, right?
And they always say, I'm sorry to bother you.
Yeah.
But they bother you anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's my haunted ass church story.
That's a good
one. Those are.
That's pretty good stuff.
Well, let's. So where can we find you? We're gonna wrap this one up. Where can we find you on Instagram? Just remind everybody.
Everybody, the same thing. It's Choir Boys with a Z Cutlery,
right?
And it'll be Choir Boys Cutlery Outdoors.
On Instagram,
anything you ever see with Choir Boys Cutlery is typically me. YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok.
Okay. You don't have a Facebook though
I have Scott Baldwin.
That's your normal one.
That's my normal, but I use it kind of for everything.
Okay.
I need
TikTok,
to follow.
Same ones, Choir Boys Cutlery for Instagram and TikTok, right?
Yes.
Okay. Outstanding.
Yeah.
Well, Scott, man, I appreciate you coming. We have some interaction. I hadn't seen you in a while. I know you live down in Green Cove or something, don't you?
Yeah.
So, I hadn't seen you in a while. I'm always enjoying to be, it's always fun talking to you. And
well,
I appreciate you coming in.
Thank you for the hospitality. I really appreciate it.
Hey, man, you're killing. You got
stories.
how many subscribers you got on YouTube now?
Or TikTok?
On YouTube, I got 5,700.
Yeah.
Wow.
On TikTok, a little over 19,000.
Yeah.
Almost 20,000.
Wow.
Yeah, we're close.
Yeah.
We're close. But it's hard to figure out, man.
Yeah. But it's
'Cause
good.
I beg people on TikTok to go to YouTube and they won't.
Well, it's the kind of stories I like, and I have a good time listening to them and, watching.
We're going to keep them coming.
Good. Well, you always get more.
Yeah, I can make some up if I need to.
Yeah. I miss your Westside. You're going to tell a lie anyway, so.
Hey, there's a lot of them I tell with other people that were about me, so, we just, that statue.
I'm going to go home and watch a couple tonight. So.
Please do.
Yeah.
Check
go
out,
watch it.
if you're into knives, check out the YouTube. I think you'd like that.
Yeah, well, I'm going to follow you on Instagram, so
Thank
I'm
you
going to get
so
on there.
much.
So
And the YouTube
and get
channel,
my friend Dave Clark to.
Yes,
'cause I need to put you guys in touch
Definitely.
for sure.
Definitely. Well, guys, thank you.
Thank you, brother.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Thanks. Hey, everybody. That was Scotty Baker, also known Baldwin. Baldwin.
Needs to be Baker acted. Is that what
Yeah.
we're going
Probably
with?
so.
Scotty Baldwin.
Times.
Yeah, with some great stories today. Also known as Scab, and when he worked at Box Seats, he was liability.
That's it.
Yeah.
And you might have met him and wished you didn't.
Yeah. Or some of his friends.
Yeah, or some of his
May have
friends.
saved you. Usually, sometimes
That's right.
Scab could be the voice of reason in that bunch. That's kind of scary, I know, but he was.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming, brother. Come
Thank you for
back
having
and see us because
Yes, sir.
I'm sure you got. We can spend another hour with you easily.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad to do it. Glad to do it.
All right. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, everybody. That was Real Jacks with Jim, Larry, Crawfish, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.